Hey guys, it's Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. I wanted to go through this evening's trade review and just review the trade day. So let's just cover real quick what we had coming in on the day. What we had expected, we had noted that NQ has been in balance, right? This is both the overnight and the RTH, really going back to the 19th. You see, we've just been in consistent balance, and one of the things we said would potentially lead us to the upside was NQ. You can see where we opened up in the day session. This was the overnight balance. This was all fair value, which means this would be relatively easy to trade through. So let me explain how this would work. Normally, when you open up, so this is how the day kind of opened here, right? Okay, so here we go. So usually what you're going to hear me say is one of two things. We either want to test in order to go lower, right? In order to go lower, we're going to have to test below the last half hour of the day, which is this right here, from the prior session, or whatever's lowest, the bottom of the hour, or the bottom of the last half hour, whichever was wider. And I would have said you're going to have to trade below and hold below that level at a minimum. And then this was the afternoon swing low from yesterday. And in order to be bearish, we were going to have to get underneath both those locations. And then ideally, if we would expect responsive buyers if we got into unfair pricing, right? So that's just all laying out lay of the land. The next thing is, in order to go higher, you had to get above and hold above Globex high and prior day's high. And what was interesting is we kind of opened up with an open drive higher scenario, but ES did not participate. The market fell back in. You can see that we consolidated underneath prior day's low, and finally the buyers gave up, and we completely covered the entire first half hour until we took out the low of the first half hour, where we found responsive buyers that pushed all the way back up into the close. We balanced into the close. And then this is after hours. Micron came out with great numbers, and we've gapped, and we are trending to the upside currently in Asia, right? So that's one piece. If you go look at the ES profile, we have much the same. You can see this is just the day chart. You can see, again, since the 19th, we've been in complete balance. And so there's a little trick to that, which is the longer we stay in balance, the less people tend to care and the more sloppy the trading gets. So you can see here, if I break this day down, we traded above the last half hour, traded above, exhausted people, and then you can see this was the afternoon swing low right there. We tested underneath the swing low, found responsive buyers, although it consolidated for a long time. This is what this looked like. So open, test above, trade all the way through the fair value, down below the afternoon swing low and below that last half hour from the prior day. You could throw up the overnight if you want to add that piece. Into unfair pricing, we consolidated for half an hour, actually an hour and a half underneath, until they finally found responsive buying, and currently we're trading up here at 17.64. And if you see ES gap tomorrow along with NQ, you always have the potential for the upside break. So that's the 2 cents, right? That's kind of how the day broke out. I want to go look at NQ, since that's primarily what we trade in the room, and see how that broke down. And if you look, what we're really concerned about, all that is great information to have in the background, but what we're really looking for is our key support resistance areas to hold or not hold. So if you look, this is really a beautiful breakout. So I'm going to go slow here. So first of all, you'll see these two bars, they had a ton of volume in them right here. This bar in particular had a ton of volume. They came back, they tested right into it. So here's the open. Right at the open, we essentially had an open drive higher, right? You can see this set the first 5-minute IB, and we traded above the first 5-minute IB from yesterday morning. We pushed, right? We found responsive sellers at right at the round number, 2,200, right? And round numbers are usually, there's traders hunting them. I think that's a little too simplistic, but they look for them and whatever, that's fine. 2,200, found responsive buyers, and it came right down to support. So this white zone was posted as our support level. This is our initial upside target, and then our third target to the upside is way up here at 2375, right? So I was not looking to short this. I'm hesitant to trade at all in the first half hour. But B, certainly shorting an open drive higher if you've been around for any period of time. For me, this is a very hard short to take. Obviously, someone took it, and we rolled to the downside. We backside tested the bar with the big volume. It's this big fat bar right here with a pink dot that was set right off the open. They came in, they tested it. You can see the white arrow up giving the lift bar, and the market took off and went right up to resistance. You can see when we got to the bottom side of resistance, we had a small rotation. Then it tested over the backside again. You see this giant volume bar that builds right there on the backside. So guys in the room, I want y'all to look at this and kind of see the patterns that are repeating. Big volume bar, big volume bar. Now you'll notice the other thing that happened here that was very interesting, we couldn't get to supernova. It was just vertical trading. I know that's frustrating, but that's what it was. But over here we did get to supernova, and I'm going to point something out. When we can get the market to give us these micro rotations, even though I wasn't shorting, I may have been wrong about that. So let's go look, right? Here's where we go inverse supernova. And now just take a look once we go inverse supernova. Diamond down. Instead of the lift bar, that's the drop bar, and push. No setup here, right? Just doesn't give us a pink bar drop. If anything, you had a very tight tweezers top consolidation zipper there, and the drop bar with a 10-point stop gave you the roll to the downside. Again, these are all forming within our resistance zone. This is our lift up. This was not a 2-bar combo, so I want to talk about this here because I don't want to just point out and say, see, this was profitable and this was profitable. What I would have looked for on these turns, and what I want to point out here that's important, let me erase these lines real quick. Please don't erase everything. There we go. What I want to point out that's really important is, see that big fat volume bar there? That was important. And this, so look at each of the turn bars. See how the bars are skinny? These are bars adjust based on the amount of volume that goes through. But see that? Yeah, that's beautiful. And then I want to show you something else. So see when we dropped to the downside here. So see how we're just sweeping this range down into support? So you don't get the volume bar, but there's two things that I want to show you up here. Hold on. Both the size of the bars, and then when you do get the 2-bar combo, which would be this bar right here, pink bar followed by diamond, then the drop bar, and then you don't get a 2-bar combo, but you get the diamond followed by the drop bar, the volume bar with the pink dot followed by the drop bar. Those are the 2 bars that coming out of there, you'll notice the longer we spend in that consolidation. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to communicate here clearly, so let me try this one more time. I apologize. What I'm trying to communicate clearly is these big volume bars, right? And see how they push, they push, they push, and then that bar gets significantly bigger compared to each of the turn bars off to the left. And within this context, right? Within this context, you only get one setup, right? Which is this pink bar, diamond down, right, and pink bar, diamond down. This would have been hard to short because we were going straight up at that point, right? But at this point, you've impulse moved back underneath this support zone, and it keeps digging back up. The only one that's set up with our A+ setup would have been this right here, and then this one set up. I want to show you this. See how the shifts up in the point of control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it drops with the volume bar. that's a valid entry for me if you're going to short. Now, let's say you weren't going to short. Come all the way up here. I don't like to trade in New York lunch. This is right after New York lunch. We come to the back of the zone, purple bar, diamond up, and then lift bar. So here's a good question. Why would I take that bar when I wouldn't take this bar over here? And I'm going to answer that question because I'm more bullish and we've extended beautifully to the downside here versus when you look at the context here, right? So if you look at this over here, I'm going to draw this out. See how we're trending up since about 3:30? I really don't have a lot of evidence or confidence that we're going to get a strong counter rotation back down. But when I get over here, right, watch the bars. Can you see how we're constantly rotating back up? Like in all of this, rotation back up, rotation back up. So when I see this, yeah, I want to attempt this. When I see this, yes, I want to attempt this. This is out of a quadruple tweezers bottom. I'm pretty aggressive, so had I been here, I probably would have attempted that. And then this is an apex trap, again, out of the zone. And you can see that they're rotating. You can see that they're rotating up. And then finally over here, we go supernova. Right here, right? You do not get a 3-bar combo, but I would argue in the supernova, the pink bar up is probably worth taking a shot. It is not on process, right? But I was looking for the push. I would have been looking for the push back to this channel. I wouldn't have looked for this, but I would have looked for the move back up here. That was my thinking. There just were no sellers. And then if you also look at that, the other reason for my bullishness in that area is look how long this consolidation goes. And look at the initial push. Now look at all the pushes back, right? Push, 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 and then the biggest push back, and we can't get close to testing this low. So these are just observational, right? And then I did point this out in the room. Look at the size of the break on that volume bar that started the upside trend. That's just really big. We'll see where we are tomorrow, but the news is really positive. We're coming to the end of the month. So we'll see if the NASDAQ can lift ES, which is not yet cooperating with us just yet. Guys, I want to reiterate, if you will focus your entries around these zones that you've been seeing, you can expect large pushes through the field from zone to zone. I'm going to keep pushing this idea until it gets cemented in everyone's mind. It's just been a really it's a really strong opportunity to make a lot of money. That's all I can say about that. So anyways, my name is Simon. I'm with Trade and Perform Coaching. If you'd like to visit the room, Trade and Perform, TRADE, the letter N, PERFORM @gmail.com. Guys, I look forward to having a good day tomorrow, and we will just go from there.